It was supposed to be just another summer day in South Carolina. Clear skies, a family gathered, kids laughing, playing in the sand. Among them was Jason, 12 years old, running toward the lake with his brothers. But what no one could see was already waiting in the water. 5 days later came the fever. On the 6th, he could barely speak. By the 7th, his brain was shutting down. What killed this boy wasn't an accident. It was a living amoeba found in warm water that entered through his nose and devoured his brain from the inside. It's not science fiction, and right now, it could be in lakes, rivers, and even tap water across the US. In this video, you'll discover where this creature hides, how it attacks, and what you need to know before your next swim. Welcome to CuriousVerse. It's invisible, but deadly. And contrary to what many think, it's not a bacteria. It's an amoeba, a single-celled organism that moves freely in water. Its scientific name is Naegleria fowleri, but it's better known as the brain-eating amoeba. It lives in lakes, rivers, untreated pools, and even in tap water, especially in hot climates. It's thermophilic, meaning it thrives in heat, and grows rapidly in warm, still water. Once inside the nose, it travels up the olfactory nerve and begins destroying brain tissue within days. The infection is rare, but when it happens, it's almost always fatal. Symptoms begin like the flu: headache, fever, nausea. But the progression is brutal. Within a week, the brain can shut down completely. Next, we'll show you exactly where it hides and how to protect your life, or the life of someone you love. This amoeba doesn't live in the ocean. It prefers fresh water and heat. Lakes, rivers, hot springs, untreated pools, water parks, even tap water in RVs. Anywhere the water is still and temperatures rise above 79 degrees Fahrenheit. During summer, these places become the perfect breeding ground. Water that looks clean, safe to drink, but deadly if it enters through the nose. In Texas, it was found in a city's water system. In Florida, a teenager died after swimming in a public park. In South Carolina, a 12-year-old boy lost his life just days after jumping into a lake. And in Arizona, a 71-year-old woman died after rinsing her nose with tap water. These aren't urban legends. They're real, recent, documented. So the question isn't just where it lives, it's whether you've already been there. Once inside the nose, it begins a silent journey. It travels along the olfactory nerve, straight to the brain. There, it doesn't just invade, it destroys. This is primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, or PAM, a rare infection, but almost always fatal. In the first 24 to 48 hours, the symptoms appear: severe headache, fever, nausea, stiff neck. It feels like the flu, but it's not. By the time doctors realize what it is, the brain is already under attack. PAM causes massive inflammation. The brain swells, the body shuts down. Comas, seizures, and death can follow, sometimes within days. There is no vaccine, no guaranteed cure, and the few who survive are medical miracles. In the next block, we'll show you what to do and the simple steps that can save a life. You might have done this for years. Without thinking, without knowing, you dive into the water to cool off, but you stir the muddy bottom of a warm, still lake on a scorching day. That's when it moves. That's how it rises. That's why the first rule is clear: never submerge your face in warm, stagnant lakes. The risk increases when you dive and breathe out through your nose. That's the moment the amoeba finds a direct path to your brain. And if you think tap water is safe for nasal rinsing, think again. Even in developed countries, it can contain dangerous microorganisms. Never rinse your nose with unsterilized water. If you must, boil it, let it cool, then use it. Another common mistake: trusting the word drinkable. Water might be safe to drink, but that doesn't mean it's safe to go up your nose. Remember, your respiratory system isn't your stomach. Prevention is in the small details, and the difference between a summer memory and an irreversible tragedy might be one forgotten caution. When people think of prevention, they usually picture chlorine, or avoiding swallowing water, or staying out of it. But the real danger hides where few imagine, the tiny openings in your nose. The only entry point for this amoeba. The only one. So protection starts here. Wear nose clips when swimming in rivers, lakes, or freshwater parks. And don't dive with your head underwater, even if the water looks crystal clear. Choose treated pools when possible, or places that openly show their water quality and cleaning schedule. And be extra careful with nasal hygiene. If you use a neti pot or rinse your nose, never use tap water. Only distilled, sterilized, or boiled and cooled water. One small mistake can mean the difference between life and death. The danger may seem distant, but it's real. You will most likely never be infected by a brain-eating amoeba. But that is no excuse for ignorance, because when tragedy strikes, it doesn't warn you. It slips in, quietly, invisibly, and destroys everything in days. While the world relaxes in rivers and lakes, believing chlorine is enough, the truth is different. Water is not always safe. The body is not always ready. And time doesn't always answer in time. Share this video with someone you love. Teach your children. Someone, somewhere, will need to remember. Because amoebas don't think, but they kill. And if you're still watching, it means there's still time. Amoebas don't think, but they kill. Subscribe to CuriousVerse, because knowledge can save.